So, my friends, here we are at the end of a very long journey. If you're watching this video, it may well be because you are at the end of your life. Maybe you've been given a terminal diagnosis. Maybe you are just getting up there in years and you're contemplating your own mortality. Maybe you're just a person who likes to think about these kinds of things. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to know what happens when we cross over into the other side. The point of this video today is to give you some tools to help you cope through this time. Because 100 billion people have walked the planet Earth, and 93 billion of them are no longer here. In death, we are all the same. You need to really, truly understand that, because the closer you get to closing your eyes for the last time, the more you are going to realize that all of the things that you distinguished yourself with, all of the beliefs, ideas, whatever sort of characteristics, labels you put on yourself, you are going to have an epiphany that we are all the same. And all of the falsehoods through which you defined yourself are going to become very apparent as you approach that final second of your life. This exercise that I think everybody should do is not only for people who are passing on. This is for everybody, because this is going to help you cement a legacy, and it's also going to help you, hopefully, put in perspective what's truly important with your existence. Now, we have this amazing technology at our disposal that we've never had throughout history that will allow us to cement a virtual legacy. And I'm very surprised that more people don't do this. And maybe it's because once they're given some sort of diagnosis, they become apathetic and they just stop caring, or they become too preoccupied fighting or denying that something is happening. And once again, I'm not saying you shouldn't fight or deny it, but like I said, this is an exercise for anybody. It's very similar to writing your own eulogy and, what will people remember about me, and what do I need to change about my life so that they can, remember something positive. It's kind of like that. Well, what I want you to do is turn on a camera. Everybody's got a camera on their smartphone. And I want you to start talking to the camera. And I want you to start opening up to the world about your experience as a human being, about all the things you've learned, about all the things you wouldn't do again. And because there's a great amount of wisdom that starts to flow through people when they're given a terminal diagnosis, because they start to realize what matters most. And because we're all of the human experience, and each human's experience feeds into the collective experience. So, for example, you have these artificial intelligence autonomous vehicles that are coming out now. So how it works is it's a learning computer. So when one car goes on the road and does things, all that information gets sent back to the mainframe to make the software even smarter, so that the car is less likely to get in an accident in the future. And 5-10 years from now, there probably isn't going to be any accidents because the cars are going to be so smart. That's the idea. The same thing should be true with humans. We have the power right now to leave a virtual legacy. So if there's things that you want to say to the world, if there's things that you want to say to your enemies, or to, family members who you haven't spoken to in ages because over some stupid, reason, some petty, trivial reason. Maybe it wasn't even that petty, but regardless, it's of the earth, it's mundane. Talk to the camera, talk to people you love through the camera, leave a legacy, record as much video as you can. But don't make the mistake of telling the same old tired stories that you've told people 100 times. When you start doing this, when you talk to a camera from the perspective of somebody who is passed on, something amazing happens. You start to speak from the heart. You start to speak in a way which is uninhibited, in a way which there's no filter, and people can truly experience you as you are meant to be experienced. And I've always thought that, wouldn't it be great for those people who've passed on if we had some, like a 2-hour long movie of them just talking to the camera about life, and that you could put that on whenever you wanted to remember them. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? Now, there are people who are somewhat immortalized by these social media platforms. There's one called Dead Social, I think, which is a service which will, post tweets and stuff on your behalf for many, many years after you're gone. There's also, I think there's a function on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. If a person passes on, they can have their accounts, I can't remember what the term is, but there's certain things you can do in that regard. But this is more personal. This is for you and your close friends, your family members. Take that video footage that you get, that can be as long as you want it. It can be hours, it can be volumes and volumes, if that's what helps you. And it will help you. It will help you a lot. Put it on a bunch of different micro hard drives, send it out to a variety of people, and give them instructions to not watch this until I pass on into the next life. Or have instructions in your will to send them out when that time comes. So I think that in doing this exercise, like I said, it's going to help people put a lot of things in perspective about what truly matters. So share this video with somebody who might be having a hard time. And once again, I'm not trying to reinforce the notion that, there is no hope and you should just give up. Read the shirt. Keep going. Always keep going. But the reality is that sometimes in undoing, in speaking your truths, getting that stuff out of your system, your disease and illness is trapped in all of the different neuroses in your body. That's what some people believe. And maybe if you can release some of that pent up negative energy, perhaps you'll start getting better. So there's a healing quality to this as well, because it's going to put your mind psychologically at ease, because you are going to be doing what you're naturally programmed to do, which is impart your experience, impart your knowledge onto the future generations. And we don't do that anymore. People just, they don't use the technology for that reason at all. So I hope that this is something which catches on, because everybody should have this opportunity. Everybody should do this. All 7 billion of us, and what is it, probably 6.9 billion of us now have cell phones, even though 2 billion of us can barely find our next meal. But everybody has the capability to do this. There's no reason why you can't have a virtual you out there, just recordings of yourself for your family members to watch. You could program it to only be watched when they reach a certain age or something like that. It's kind of like the old system of writing letters. But the problem with a letter is that you don't get to actually see the person. You almost forget what they look like. So with a video, you actually can see the person. Anyways, I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.